come in? The door's unlocked. My daughter just stepped up for a moment. May I help you?
You're Mr. Ralph Harkness?
Yes.
There must be some mistake. This is about voting. I don't suppose they expect you to vote.
Well, then the joke's on them. Here's my ballot now. Mrs. Felton is going to stop by later to be sure that it gets into the mailbox.
We're making our calls for her. I'll mail it for you.
You'll be very sure to?
Sure will.
I act as if I were handing over the deed to my house, don't I? But I can't tell you what it means to me. You see, I've been an invalid for 31 years. That's a long time. And the worst part of it is you feel so left out of things. Like something had been shoved into a dark corner. And then Mrs. Felton stopped by. Oh, just making her regular rounds. And when she found out how long it had been since I'd been able to vote, my goodness, the last time was the Coolidge-Davis campaign. Well, she brought a registrar right here to the house just to get me registered. And then she brought me an absentee ballot. I tell you, it was like becoming a part of the world again. As though I amounted to something after all. And that's what Mrs. Felton did for me.
Tell your mother I'm going to need a babysitter for sure when I go to vote.
Okay.
Would you turn down that flame, please? You know, my husband works till 2 o'clock every morning, and boy, our lives are really topsy-turvy. Frankly, that's why I never bothered to vote before. Would you hand me the baby oil, please? There we go. You know, that mother of yours really gave me a talking to. No, the baby oil. After all, where do we housewives get off thinking that nothing but what happens in our own house concerns us? One of those diapers, please. You know what really impressed me the most? All the time she was talking to me about the political situation.
One of these?
Yes, this is a diaper. She was showing me how to diaper this baby of mine.
Mother sure got around.
Yeah. I don't understand this one. All she's got written here is say hello. Mrs. Felton asked us to call.
Oh, please to come in. No, we cannot vote in this election. We are not yet citizens. But Mrs. Felton was kind enough to help us secure all the necessary papers. And now my wife and I must only pass the tests. My wife is very mirthful that I have trouble with one part of my studies. Whenever Mrs. Felton is in neighborhood, she so kindly drops by to discuss tests. And always it is same question that makes my wife laugh and my head hurt.
Please to tell, what are 3 branches of federal government?
Judicial, executive, legislation.
Legislative.
It is good enough. Please to tell Mrs. Felton that I have finally mastered question.
I will.
And also please to tell her that when America grants us the honor to vote as free men, she will never have to urge or remind us.
Doesn't that Mrs. Felton never give up? I'm going to spend half an hour of my good time to go to the polls to vote for a bunch of crooked politicians? You think I got holes in my head?
You asked me a question a minute ago, and then you slammed the door before I could answer it.
Huh?
You asked me if I thought you had holes in your head. Well, the answer is yes.
Hey, now listen.
Don't you know that bad politicians are put into office by people like you who don't even bother to vote? You vote good people into office and you get rid of the bad ones automatically. But how are you going to get rid of them if loudmouths like you gripe all over the place and never even bother to vote on election day?
Listen, I don't have to...
listen. Every time you miss a chance to vote, you slap America right in the face.
That I don't have to take. I'm 100% American, and any guy that says I'm not...
I say you're not. I know your type. You expect somebody else to hand you good government, and then you just sit around and complain when things go wrong. You're the kind of guy who shouts all over the place about his God-given rights. Well, listen, mister, along with those rights go responsibilities, and don't you forget it. Why the smile?
Let's not get so emotional.
Hmm?
Those were your very words.
Just makes my blood boil, that's all.